I would like to talk to you about a subject that is recurring at the moment, is an anxiety linked with grief. Okay, there's something, it's happening since the last few weeks. This great living this challenge that all of us humans live at some point in our lives when we lose someone close who matters a lot to us, or who we realized too late they mattered to us so much. And how do you deal with it? So I'm not a psychologist. I can only talk to myself and watch it again. And by watching it again, then I realize a bit more about how I can help myself go through this. The grief is a grief that has been going on a very long time. When I was very little, well, we don't blame the past, but to say when I was very little, I had already an anxiety about losing my parents, but I realized, because they were a lot older than me, that it was bound to happen a lot earlier than my peers, because their parents were a lot younger. So I've seen them grow up, and they were, in their 40s, 50s. So I've only known them as mature people. So the grief of losing them at a young age, obviously that brings, I'm processing now, it's emotional. It brings this fear of being dependent on someone we don't want to be with, or, be sent to a, what do you call it, an orphanage, or a family or something. So that's the fear that's based there, coming into today's fear of losing, in a way, the ones who help me provide for myself. So, because it's not just that, I need to learn to dissociate the fear for my own safety and, balance, like feeling safe physically, and that fear of losing the friendship and the love of the people I've learned to truly care for. So the grief is there. It's eating at me literally since a few weeks. Deal with it. I can only deal with it by letting it out and accepting it's a feeling that has a long history of repeating itself. So the challenge is now, as I'm older and able to understand a bit more, to be to myself that help that I needed so badly when I was little. So I am here for you. I am here for you. Trust in life. Grief is a feeling. You are not a victim through it. You just learn to grow stronger and love those that are alive around you, hopefully even more, because you realize it is short. Okay. And now I'm feeling less emotional. I can deal with that feeling. Separating the security from the friendship. Can I imagine feeling at this moment when I need it the most, a feeling of being as blessed as I could ever be in a material aspect of things, to the better of the ability of the planet, of the dimension we're going to sleep into, or I'm going to sleep into with my life. Maybe a different world to yours, I don't know. So, yes, to be trusting into the guidance. Process. the feeling of feeling so safe. I've never ever felt as safe as this before. And what does that feel like? A lot of tingling in my belly, of like a sunny day, enjoying gentle warmth and vitality. That feeling in my stomach or abdomen. The thing is, it's also the physical love and help from other people, because if I was extremely rich but I had nobody I could talk to from heart to heart, open, then I'd feel extremely lonely. And that's not a happy existence. I don't want it. So yes, that's the feeling of that is financial, but and place, like value of wherever I am. And that feeling of having people around me that are supportive, loving, friendly, welcoming, warm, honest, and eager to work hard and have a really good time as well, and be creative. And so that feeling here. So looking forward to the future, basically, and trusting, well, not in the moment, that it could be really exciting and wonderful. But I feel a great sense of freedom and breathing. Like the people you see in the advert, they breathe out in the field of rapeseed. And then they get stung by bees. Now the loss of the friendship is a hard one. It's a different one, but because I feel more secure in the feeling of having imagined what it would feel like to feel safest to the anybody. No, we are never safe because there's death at the end of this life at some point. But as safe as I could ever be in the best, most exciting, wonderful life. And what does that feel like? And then going back to the feeling of them and the loss of them. I truly believe in spirits, so I will just feel less grief. Just I will want to communicate with them in spirit, and that to me is not sad because it's being with them on the other plane. So whether they're there or not, if they're trying to come through at the moment, I'm seeing lots of interesting things, and just feeling that the veil is really not that far. So yes, a feeling of, again, gratitude for the connection and the signs that they may give to me by their lives, their presence rather than consciousness. It's like I read on the YouTube advert. It said someone has written that. It said you cannot kill a cloud, and we are clouds. We form in the sky for a certain time, and then we dissipate, but we're still there. That's the belief, of life after death, but in a consciousness state. But I don't understand, if we become back to consciousness, how can the spirit of the person can transform to speak to the persons they've known and cared for? I'd like so many answers, but the only true answers are the ones we find inside that fit our reality of things. But so it takes a little bit of listening to be able to hear them. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I would say the grief, I think I'm at 7 out of 10 now. It was 3 out of 10 before. Yes, knowing that, well, they've stopped all their suffering as well. but it's not a good reason to want to be there. It's getting a bit cold here. So I will leave that, it's long enough. This was today's lesson on grief. Now, if you're still grieving after all this, maybe you can go and do the trick in the mirror. Put your hands up at yourself and touch yourself gently. You don't even have to say I love you, you can just look at yourself and know that you're there for yourself, for you, that you'll back yourself up today. What else could you do? You could have a glass of water, that always helps for grief, really. A good glass of water, get all these emotions that are coming out from the cells out. But apparently, Sadhguru said you have to be sitting down when you drink a glass of water. And he didn't say you have to bless it. What else did he say? Oh yes, you must sip it to mix it with the saliva, which is alkaline in nature, should be, or whatever. So I'm not sure if you want all that advice. I certainly don't want it. But worth trying. Happy Saturday to the grieving person who's watching this. I just hope you can, find the light and hope inside you as well. I hope I'm talking to myself. If it's someone else watches it and thinks it's a bit hard, well, it's not for you. So it's for myself. So okay. So here we go. Good luck and courage and integrity with yourself, and just that your future is so exciting. You wish you would know it now, because you'd be starting to dance.